Hey, this is Alex, and this is another short video, part 2 of how to count to 10 in Vietnamese. And as I mentioned in the previous video, if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch part 1, how to count 1 through 5. So what I did is I wrote down the numeric representation, and these are the Vietnamese words for it. In case you haven't seen the other video, the intent behind this is if you're out with her and you're talking to her and trying to build a relationship, one of the questions you may ask is if she has kids, is how many kids does she have? The big family, she may have, 5, 6 kids. More likely, probably not, but more likely she's gonna have a lot of siblings, all right? And then it also could be like, you've asked her how long she's been with a particular job, how many months or years, things like that. And then likewise, it could be like how long she's been studying something or how long she's been on a particular career, okay? So as I said, these are the numbers in English. And these are the Vietnamese representation, and we're going to be covering each one, okay?
But first, how would you like an ongoing supply of free reports, helpful resources and unique cultural insights for meeting, dating and marrying a Vietnamese woman? Too easy. Just take a quick moment to subscribe. And click the bell icon. And you'll never miss out again.
So, as I was saying, the idea behind this is this, right? So these are the these are the international representation, these numbers, and then these are the Vietnamese words. So let me pronounce each of these at a time, and then I'm going to break down why the sounds are the way that they are, all right? So this is pronounced shao. Now, you may have heard that this sound pronounced like SH. In Vietnamese, the consonant S has an SH sound. Now, I consider it go on all, for a long time about why, but that's just the way that it is, right? Like in Spanish, the letter J is pronounced like an H. So no real good reason. So in Vietnamese, if you see the letter S, it's pronounced with an SH sound, all right? Shao. Other thing I want to bring your attention is this little angular thing above this, all right? Above the letter A. What that does, it makes the word go higher. This is, I mentioned this previously, Vietnamese is a tonal language. These little things right here make the word either higher or lower, okay? Without it, it's pronounced shao, which means that behind or in the back, all right? Shao means 6. The word is pronounced, that word is pronounced a lot higher, all right? Bảy, okay, number 7, bảy. You'll notice this little question, almost like a question mark thing in front of it, right? This is another modifier to make the word sound a little bit lower, okay? This makes the word go higher, this makes the word go lower. Now, if we were that black and white, things would be simple, right? The thing is, Vietnamese has 5 different pitches, for lack of a better word. This is kind of like I'd say like the middle, okay? This is the highest one, this is the middle. If I were to get rid of this and put a dot, which makes the word the heaviest, it's gonna mean bite, right? So if I were to take this out and put a dot down here, it would be a totally different word. It would be bite, which means, like I said, a different word, okay? 8 means tám. Again, you see this, right? Tám, which means that the word's going up. Without this, it's tam, which is a different word, okay? 8, tám. 9, chín. You'll notice that this one, sáu, tám, chín, they all have this, which means the word is pronounced higher. Without this, it would be pronounced chín, which is again a different word, right? Because if this is spelled this way, the word is intended to be pronounced higher, again at a higher tone or higher pitch, depending on what you prefer. 10 is 10. You'll notice there's a kind of like a accent here going this way. That makes the word pronounced a little lower, not as low as it would if we put a dot. If we put a dot, it would be 10, which is a different word. Without this, it'd be 10, right? With this, it's 10, just a little bit lower, okay? So these things above, these things are in the U and the O. That's just, Vietnamese is a little bit unusual in that we have far fewer consonants than in English, but the language has way more vowels. There's like 3 or 4 different O sound and 3 or 4 different U sound, okay? So these are actually different ways of pronouncing the letter U and the letter O, and combined, right, it's pronounced 10. With this, it's pronounced 10, okay? 10, 10. So let me count this again. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 is 9, 10 is 10. All right, let me practice this again. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now, I didn't plan on covering this video, but I wanted to point out something that will make the future videos a lot easier, all right? If you study really closely, English doesn't, if you grow up with it, you don't really look at it, right? But as somebody who, I came in when I was very young, and just as my, I don't know, one of my hobbies, I just like, I don't know, trying to make sense of things, right? If you look at it in English, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all great, right? But 11 is like, okay, what's that about? Here's what I mean. In Vietnamese, all right, just as a quick recap, the word 1 means it's một, okay? Guess how we say 11? 11. It literally means 10, 1, right? Which makes sense because 10 plus 1 makes 11. How do we say 12? Well, the Vietnamese word for 2 is hai, 12. In English, it's 12. Like, okay, what happened to 10 and 2? You see, there's no rhyme or reason, right? If you look really closely when you count in English to a non-native speaker, there is no pattern. It's really tough, all right? So this actually makes a lot more sense once you, not makes more sense, but it follows a much more closer pattern, all right? So I'll give you another example, and we can wrap up here. If I wanted to say 17, right? In English, it's like, okay, I guess there's a 10 in there somewhere. There's a 7, but what's 17 about, right? So it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then you get 20. Okay, why is it not? You see, there's no really, actually, there's very little consistency there. In Vietnamese, if I want to say 19 is 19, which is 10, 9, right? If I want to say 17 is 17. Pretty straightforward, right? So my point is that once you understand 1 through 10, you can pretty much count to 20 and 30 pretty easily because it follows this pattern. This is actually true of Chinese as well. Now, so you want to say, for example, right? Like, if you want to say, 17, it'd be 17. If you want to say 18, 18. You want to say 19, 19. You literally put the two words back to back, which is how you do it in math, right? You 10 plus 9. That's literally how we're enunciating it. 19, 10, 9, 19. You see? So once you get the hang of the first 10, the rest of the numbering system or how to say it verbally makes it a lot easier. Obviously, I'm not trying to teach you first grade math here. I'm just saying that the language, at least in Vietnamese, from a counting perspective, it follows the root word versus you have to learn the equivalent of 11 or 12 or 13 or 14. It's just, that's a lot harder, right? This, when you first see it, obviously these words are different, but once you get these, this part 2 of our video, if you go back to part 1, you'll see how I counted 1 through 5, right? Now, actually it's under this paper right here. I'm just going to pull this up, yeah. Right? And here, see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right? So if I want to say 13 is 10, 3, right? 10, 3, that's 13. If I want to say, 15 is 10, 5, again, 10, 5. You see, you don't, when you grow up with a language, you just kind of accept that it makes sense until you basically go look at another language and say, wait a minute, maybe what I grew up with doesn't, not that it doesn't make sense, but it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't follow a pattern, right? English is difficult, and I said this probably multiple times, but it's worth mentioning. If you grow up with it, you don't realize how difficult a language it is for a non-native speaker because it doesn't really follow any consistency because it has so many different influences, right? German, French, Latin, so in that regard, it's extremely, it doesn't really have any consistency to it, or it's far less consistent than most of the language. We'll leave it at that, all right? So let me wrap up here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 6, all right? Again, if you want to go to the teens, 17, 10, sorry about that, 5, 12, 13, okay? So again, this is kind of like a bonus round, right? We counted from 6 through 10, and it's dawned on me that, hey, by doing it this way, you can also count from 10 till up to 19. At 20, the word changes, but then it follows the same pattern after that, okay? So let me do this one more time and let's wrap up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 19, 8, 6, Remember, this S is pronounced as SH, okay? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, this is going to serve as a root video, as a kind of like the foundational video for other future videos where we're going to then ask her like how many kids does she have, how long she's been at a job, and also, you know, other things related to that, all right? Or how far does she live from work and things like that, okay? Basically all things that can be expressed in numbers, okay? So with that being said, my name is Alex. I've enjoyed sharing this video with you. And Vanessa and I, you know, really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to share our culture and also our numbering system, right? At least how to count in Vietnamese to 10, actually to 20, I guess. And then, you know, so we'd love to hear your feedback on this, what you like, what can be improved. And if you find these videos valuable or you enjoy them, please share them with a couple of your friends. We'd love to help spread the word out. And then, so I'm going to say thank you in Vietnamese. Cảm ơn, right? Cảm ơn. And then we'll see you in the next video. All right. So this is Alex signing off, and we'll talk soon.